Hey, Corey.
Hey, Jimmy.
It's a day of firsts.
It is?
Yeah, well, it's the first time we have Diege on the channel.
Yep.
I think it's the first time that we've actually really had a proper avatar project on the channel.
It's true.
And it's the first time that this channel is going to ever stream to Twitch.
Well, I mean, day of firsts.
Welcome to NFT Game Day. We've got Diege in the house from Kickback on Wax. I don't know if it's called Kickback on Wax, but I like saying Jack's on Wax, so I figured if I just imported Kickback on Wax into that. You guys are doing some really interesting stuff that we definitely want to dive into, and we got some fun stories to tell, I think, as well. But I think this momentous day of first needs some rocket fuel action, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that. I wanted to go in and freaking buy some of these things, but they're all fucking way too expensive. Congrats.
Right.
That's fun. Way to jack up the price. Yeah, let's watch one of those things. Please hold. Do. Rockets.
I'm not the bubble. 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 I'm not the bubble.
Yep.
So I'm going to steal a couple minutes from you, Diege, because this is a momentous occasion. So if you're on Twitch and this is the first time that you're watching us, this is Corey and I'm Jimmy, and we're a duo of many uplifters, two of which, run this channel, but there's a few more of us that will do occasional streams on here. We're
a duo of many.
We're a duo of many, right? Yeah. Corey's a musician. We're both podcasters. I'm a writer. He's an English major, so that works out well sometimes. We come here Monday to Friday for various theme shows. Today's our NFT Game Day show. And we're kind of happy to be on Twitch. Check it out, see what's going on. But we do this thing in this metaverse that Corey is the founder of, called the Uplift World. And every show we start out and we go into world and we put up some gratitudes and we talk about what we're grateful for. Corey, maybe you want to touch base on gratitudes. Why that would maybe be good for our first ever Twitch stream in case somebody's watching this back and they don't really know what's going on.
I'm sorry, what?
Gratitudes, why?
Because it is scientifically proven to make people happier. That's just it doesn't get more complicated than that. If you touch in with something that you're grateful for every day, doesn't matter where you are, you can be happy now, you're gonna be happier after. It's like just a thing. So we started this tradition of putting gratitudes up in Minecraft server. The act of that became this kind of cultural movement a little bit, and then we turned that into a metaverse called the Uplift, where people can own land based on NFTs on the Wax blockchain. For now, on the Wax blockchain, exclusively anyway. And so yeah, like Jimmy and I do this. I'm in the thing right now. We do this thing where everybody comes on the show. We put gratitudes up on monuments inside something we called Uplifters Tower, which just in case you want to know what that looks like, it's kind of big now. Start at the bottom. Every show, we add a few more gratitudes, and it's just kind of a living monument, which is kind of fun. Anyway, so yeah, Jimmy, what are you grateful for this morning?
I'm grateful to be on Twitch. I'll do 2, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
I know a little bit of Diege's backstory, so I'm also grateful for the hard grind. I can do 3, actually. I know a little bit of Diege's backstory, so I'm also grateful for Corey's strong hand of motivation.
Stole mine.
Sorry.
He stole mine.
Sorry, man. I get excited about simple
That's
things.
cool.
Any observation? What's happening, buddy? You're taking the piss out of me now. I can't. That's it. You're coming on the show with Michael. We're doing it next week. You're in for it.
Makes sense. I mean, I feel like we haven't been on a stream where he beat me to the punch on a freaking mint sprint like in what feels like 10 years. That's just unacceptable. Diege, go ahead.
I'm grateful for the journey.
All right, and Anders is grateful for coffee, which makes a shit ton of sense. Me too. All right, and Jimmy also likes Corey's strong hand. It's awkward,
right? I mean, don't.
We haven't
know
even
what's happening.
we haven't even come out as a couple yet, and already Anders is like outing us to everyone.
Right? Yeah, it's. I mean, true fact. Diege's name is impossible to pronounce. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I think I'm doing it right, but I could be wrong. Is it Diege?
That's correct. Anders
Okay.
always gives me shit saying they don't know how to pronounce my name. So
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, I mean,
Does he know how to pronounce anyone's name? Really? Oh, look, these. I'm grateful for people who build, just in general. It's funny. We're having. I can't even remember who we were having the conversation with, but some brainstorming session, and you know, people were all kind of worried, like, oh, like, do we really want to share these ideas? And like, no. And I'm like, honestly, ideas are dog shit. They really are. Everybody and their fucking, mom has ideas all the time, and Corey equals Corey. Yeah, I like it. Sorry. But the people who actually go out and actually do shit, I mean, that's everything. Action is literally everything, even if it's a little bit every single day. And ideas are dog shit. It's just a thing that I keep going back to. So, Deej, dude, like, you go away for a minute, and you're like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna launch some shit." Like, just tell us everything. Start at the beginning.
So it started. I was always a big buyer on wax. I was buying into everything all the time back in sort of March, April, May. Back in the R Planet, when R Planet was peaking, where its first peak. I assume there will be more. So along with many other people as well, I was just buying everything, getting involved in all the drops. I had multiple uplift lands. Like, we just went crazy and was just buying everything and getting involved in all these communities, and it was great. And I was like, I want a bit of that. I've got ideas. I want to create something. And so that's when obviously I messaged you. I was hounding you on Twitter for the longest time. Corey, listen to my ideas. Corey, listen to my ideas. Please, Corey, listen to my ideas. And eventually Corey turned around and goes, ideas ain't shit. Go and do stuff and then come back to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and do stuff, and I'm going to prove to Corey that my ideas do have weight, and that they're going to be more than just ideas, and we're going to achieve something.
I mean, and like, provably nailed it. Yeah, it looked like it's going really, really well. And I honestly, I'm sorry that I didn't, because I love talking about ideas with people. I just have never been this busy in my entire life, and so it's just like it. Thank you so much for reaching out, and because there's other people. If you're listening to this and you've reached out and I haven't got back to you, it's not that I don't like you, but that your ideas are actually shit. They might not be. still just go do something. Right?
I mean, sometimes you don't get back to the people on your team, and like that's how busy we are, right? Like that's how much we're doing. Is like sometimes we don't even have time to communicate with one another. So, I mean, I like it. Like I like the fact that you just took those ideas and you went and you built something, and you basically came here and said, like, look, now like Corey's complaining about buying these NFTs because they're too goddamn expensive. Like you didn't even just create it. Like you went over the top,
I mean,
right?
I'm buying one. I'm buying one anyway.
You're
But,
right.
like,
So
I was like
basically
walking myself into some FOMO here.
Kickback came out of I basically looked at Wax and what Wax can offer that no one else can offer, and how we can utilize something that not many other projects are utilizing on Wax. And the one thing I noticed on Wax that we have that not many other blockchains do, or at least not to my knowledge, was the backing of the Wax tokens onto NFTs, and how easy that can be done on Atomic Orb and what have you. And beforehand, when I first dreamt this idea up, you could actually see it on the pictures of the NFTs, but they've got rid of that now to stop hackers, not hackers, scammers, being able to add an NFT with a picture of the backed Wax number and then selling it to people, making money. So they've got rid of that now, but you can still see it in the details of the NFT. So I thought, well, why is no project using this to their advantage and utilizing it for something fun rather than getting around market fees? Because that to me was the only reason that people were using it, and I didn't like that idea anyway. I think that if you're buying into a project, then you should be buying it on the market, provide a little bit of kickback to the project to help them grow and what have you. So I didn't like the way that the backed Wax stuff was being used. So I thought, how can we add that to something and make it a positive thing rather than a negative thing? So obviously, I think every man and his dog that's in crypto at the moment knows how well avatars are doing, especially on the Ethereum blockchain, and how crazy they're going and what have you. So I thought, well, that looks fun, and that doesn't look too complicated from a building point of view, because I don't have any development background. I'm as computer savvy as any person that you would find on the street. So I thought, well, how can I build something that doesn't have too much complexity behind it, and that I'll be able to do with a very small budget to start with? So we came up with the idea of the avatars, and then giving a lot of the money back to the community. So obviously, being part of Uplift back in the day, a lot more than I am now, unfortunately, because I'm focused a lot on Kickback at this moment in time. So my current builds in Chicken Car have taken a bit of a standstill for now while we get this set up. But maybe I could pass that on to my community.
Right, I can't count the number of people that Corey's driven away from us by making them go and build their own shit. I don't have time to help you, Jimmy. We're busy building stuff over here. Yeah,
the Uplift is always designed to be a long-term thing, though, too, right? Like people are going to be there, they're not going to be there, they're going to be going in, and like that real estate's keep going to sit there. We're not stopping, right? So we're going to keep making it more interesting as much as we possibly can. So yeah, no, I love it, and then it's a tool sitting in your toolbox for when this project matures and it becomes a useful thing to start integrating in with it. It's gonna make sense.
So yeah, that's what we was thinking. We could potentially give the plots to our community to actually build on, hang out, all that sort of stuff. I think a lot of people are doing that now, or at least they were doing. So yeah, so I don't want it to be my plot anymore. I can give it to the community, donate that to the community, and obviously have more people on there. What's the licenses now? How many people can we get on a plot at the moment?
I think it's 8.
That's more than when I remember. I remember 2.
Yeah, but a lot of people are setting up events and stuff, because anytime anybody's running over your land, like all the rewards are active now, right?
Yeah.
So even if they can't build, if they've got an excuse to be there and hanging out, is good.
Well, and I would definitely like to see what you guys do is like, because like there's some really interesting implications on what you guys are doing, right? Like you've actually thought this out really well, and I think like the fact that like these NFTs in a sense are backed And some of them can be burnt, I think, down the line as well. Didn't you work that into it? So like you could put like I don't know what, like you could put like a museum of lost souls in there. Like you could put images on all the ones that were burnt, for example.
So-
like something like that would be really cool, right?
I kind of feel really good about the fact that I got a diaper wearing leprechaun. And I feel all right about this.
Yeah, so basically the logic with the leprechaun was obviously the premise of the story was that a lot of the money, well, not money, the wax will get backed onto the different assets, and so you'd obviously want to be lucky. So the first avatar made sense to be something that resembles luck. So we went for Liam the leprechaun. And he's numbered 1 to 1,000, and 500 actually gained rewards, and we did that on Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, so there you go. You can see like this one's. So I just opened this, and it's backed by 215 wax.
There we go.
It's like a really. As an avatar, I've been really a little critical of the avatar projects because every Tom, Dick, and Harry's launching one every 5 seconds. You know what I haven't seen? Anything like this.
That's what we went for. Like,
right? I mean,
if
that
we were going to do an avatar project, we wasn't going to copy anybody. We was doing it our way, and we were doing
going
it
into that. Right, going into that thing that really only wax can do. Like, this is interesting. It's like as an avatar project, I think, and I want you to keep talking about it. 'Cause it's like just right now, it feels like the dumbest savings plan ever. But also, I have a leprechaun who's wearing undies, which is me. Like, that's like, I'm not that lucky, but I hate pants, so that worked out really well. No, I love that. So okay, so basically, tell us the story of like the main idea around community. Obviously, like you get one of these things, like the main rules around it, at least said 50% of them are backed, 50% of them aren't, right? So
yeah.
Like, I just bought another one, so like that might not be backed by anything.
Exactly. So
okay,
basically, the logic is we sell the drop. The drop sold out. We then run the smart contract we'd had developed to randomly generate 500 rewards onto the assets. Only 500 of them, so 500 don't get rewarded. However, in the second drop, there will be the majority prize pool goes to the second edition cards, and there will be a smaller prize pool, a much smaller prize pool, but it goes into the first edition cards. So that's where the name Kickback comes from. So in season 1, in our Genesis season, for the 5 sales that take part in that season, the first edition cards will continue to get that 50-50 chance of getting rewarded in sale 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That's interesting.
So how does that work then? Is that a drop to community members on a certain date, or?
So we ran our sale on the Saturday or the Friday, and we sold it out by Tuesday, I think, and then we waited a week, and then we dropped the rewards. And then going forward, that there'll be, so we're currently developing the second avatar now, so it'll be, the idea of this being a journey is we want to improve in every aspect every time we do some more content release. So that's the reason we went for the pixelated avatar to start with a very basic sort of idea of him, even though the artwork actually is quite good, pixelated art form, quite a basic art form. And then in the next one, we're going for more like pencil drawings and so on and so forth. And then by sale 5, we'll have built up into a really high quality, maybe 3D avatar. So we're trying to achieve different bits, and it's not going to always be a leprechaun either. So our next avatar that we will be releasing, I haven't actually announced yet, so I'll announce that now. I don't mind. Is going to be called Steve, and Steve is going to be a caveman.
I like it. So
similar sort of thing. The base avatar will be sort of just covering like his dignity, and then after that we'll have the attributes that give him outfits and assets and stuff like that. So then he'll be. So I've had the first draft of him built now, and then that will increase the pool size of Steve's by 250. So rather than being 1,000, there'll be 1,250 assets. To buy, because obviously, again, as we want to expand, we want the community to expand, but we don't want to only allow our current holders to buy. We want to always have an extra piece of the pie for for new people to get into the project at the base price, so that they don't have to continuously buy off of the secondary market. So with that comes the second drop rewards pool, which will take place shortly after that sale. The majority of the rewards pool will go to the second edition Steve cards. Then a little bit of the rewards pool will go to the first edition Liam's, and then a little bit will be retained for further development in the project. So we actually give away around 80% of all sales back to the community. So in a numbers format, that actually turned out to be 80, I think just above 82,000 wax got backed onto assets on Tuesday on 500 assets.
I mean, if you were block one, that would be $4.5 billion.
Is that what it works out at?
I like it. Yeah. So when you do you guys have a release date for this sale yet?
For the second sale, no. It'll be.
Is he freezing for me too, or for you too, Jimmy?
No, I think you're the one that's frozen, mate. Sorry.
Yeah,
Motherfucker.
Corey's freezing, but I can.
It's a good freeze though. I mean, we've had worse. I mean.
No, so we don't have a second sale date lined up yet. We're still developing. The one thing I do want to start developing.
You're okay now.
Yeah, we seems good. The one thing we are developing is a new website. We want a new website that actually pulls data from the smart contracts and blocks itself to build a leaderboard for people that. So we're going to have two different leaderboards on there. There's going to be one that shows assets that have been backed by wax, so that'll be a purely luck-based leaderboard. Nobody will be able to take advantage of that because that'll be pulled from the smart contract. So even if you had a whale that wanted to stick 10,000 wax onto an asset just to be at the top of the leaderboard, it won't pull that data. It'll only pull what the reward pool is given. So that'll be a luck-based leaderboard, and then we're also going to do something down the line that will be able to be sort of manipulated by the players as well.
So can you walk us through this? Because I think the idea of backing this by wax is really interesting. And I don't think that, you mentioned that you didn't like what was going on earlier, but like there wasn't that many projects that were doing it in the first place. It was kind of like driving a Hummer like in the middle of the city, right? Like there was this really cool like idea, but it didn't really like materialize into much. And so like let's say you have a Steve or you have one of these avatars that's backed by like 200 or 250 wax. Now, if you want to take that wax and you want to go spend it on something else, do you have to burn that avatar to get that wax back?
Yeah.
So once you do that, then that wax comes back to your account, and that that asset or that avatar or that NFT is gone forever, and that reduces the overall maximum supply of the ones that actually exist out there. Correct?
Exactly. So I think that we are one of the first deflationary avatar projects.
That's really cool, actually.
That is cool. So, yeah, it's kind of fun. So you're basically doing a bunch more releases, sort of increasing supply by a little bit more each time, right?
Yep.
Which seems good, right? Because it seems like you could be getting some really good attention. I'm loving wrapping my brain around the price dynamics after the sale, right? Like people starting to realize, like it's funny. It tracks to this sort of back of the napkin 4-to-1 ratio that I've been noticing, where people will pay for a chance 4-to-1 the average value in any pack, right? It doesn't make any fucking sense, but it's been consistent over many projects, looking at a bunch of different things, right? And so like that, it seems like it might actually be really close to what I'm seeing in the math, really, really preliminarily, which is interesting. So that's a great virtuous cycle, right? Like that you've discovered or created, frankly. And so we go down to round 5. I love the idea of like scaling up to the 3D the 3D kind of voxel or avatar or whatever. I think that could be really, really cool. What's the plan to sort of, because the one thing I've noticed with the avatar projects that seem to be going really, really well, and the 50 million that are terrible and are going to go away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's community, right? Like that, like piling value on what you're doing, like this initial thing, you're piling value on in the beginning, like chance and actually getting wax backed, and which is interesting to your point. Like it's deflationary, like it looks like a fun number, but whatever. But like when wax goes to $50, like my fucking Liam 532 is gonna look like a fucking baller. Just saying, right?
Yeah.
So what's the plan for after all the sales are out, or even ongoing? Like what other than this are you guys thinking about?
Yeah, so I've got, as a team, we've got some great ideas, of which I can't tell you what season 2 is going to bring. However,
Wink.
my advice to everyone that's got a Liam is do not burn it. Do not burn that asset. No matter how bad you need the wax, don't get rid of them. So we've seen some people someone from the Our Planet Discord bought like 25 and burnt 11 day one. Just burnt them. As soon as the reward come through, just burnt 11. I was like, this guy's crazy. And and then there was another guy that got 200 and I think it was like 215 or 235 wax backed onto a Liam and listed it for 250.
Yeah,
onto the market. And then he lost money on it because of market fees.
Oh.
But the guy that bought it basically got this asset that's going to continue to add value for at least for the next 4 sales and then into season 2. Got it for negative wax, like almost. When you take it to market, you got it for like 9
just all
wax
sitting there.
Yeah.
People need to buck the fuck up. It's like that's just like, but I think it's fun too because it's new. People are starting to like understand stuff, and I think an error rate around that kind of thing as people because we're exploring this as an idea, right? But I love that like instantaneous, like don't sell these, you fucking guppies, and I don't really ever do that anyway, right? Like that, I'm curious, and you've layered it in a really interesting way, right? Because it's not just like one event and then like, hey, we all kind of sit around waiting for this fucking pixel art thing to moon. This isn't Ethereum, probably won't happen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But there's another sale there's another opportunity to get in on the ground floor. There's actually 4 more, but each one of those is actually giving kickbacks. Weird that's in the name to the people that came in first. It seems like a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah, so one of the things that we wanted to do as well, and I still need to speak to a couple of the developers about being able to do this, is I want each Liam to be a whitelist passed as well into sale 2. This is why we have the increase in size. So there's going to be 1,000 Liams, and I want each of those to be a whitelist into sale 2. But so let's say you own 1 Liam, you should be able to get 1 sale 2 pack. If you own 10, you should be able to buy 10, so on and so forth. But then there will still be 250 that go public. Now, that's all well and good, but currently Atomic Hub and currently Nifty Blocks don't do that. It's as simple as you own this template ID and you are then whitelisted and everyone's equal, whether you own 1 or 10.
Right. We always have like you'd have to like multi-count basically. Right.
Yeah, and then I don't necessarily want to sort of promote that.
Yeah.
So we're looking at ways that we can do that. We're looking at ways to bring a solution to that. And if we can't bring a solution to it, then we will rethink how we actually do the drop itself. But yeah, so we want it to be there's no benefit to multi-accounting. There's no benefit to switching your assets from one account to another, etc.
It's actually a really interesting idea, and maybe
DM from Nifty Blocks is like, chat, call me. Right? I fucking love you guys. Like seriously, every single time I interact with Nifty Blocks, I just want to marry them in like a businessy friend way. Is that weird? That was weird, but you get the point. I love these guys, and seriously, they might be able to make it happen.
I mean, and it makes sense. Like that it wouldn't be that difficult. Maybe like if you own 10 in your account, then you can buy a maximum of 10, right? Like if you own 1, you can only buy 1. Right?
And honestly, other people will use that DM. Like that's good shit.
Nifty Bucks can make things happen. They make your NFT dreams come true. I will say that.
So this is the thing as well, because it's just one schema. So it's it'd be how many assets does this account hold of this schema? That's how many purchases you're allowed, and that should be
it sets the limit dynamically. Another thing I've never seen anywhere.
So that's what we want to do for sale 2, and then obviously 3, 4, and 5 as well. But to your point about so once sale 5 happens, how do we then add value? We do have something in the works going back to the leaderboard that can be manipulated by the players, and that's where the rarity scores come in. So if you go onto your asset now, you'll see one of the attributes is rarity score. And obviously Liam 1 has the best rarity score. Liam 1000 has got currently the worst rarity score. But that rarity score is going to be pivotal in Season 2 onwards for a mechanic that we will be bringing in.
Okay.
But I can't give you any more than that because we've not announced anything yet, and we've got a roadmap. We want to do sale 2 and 3 whilst we're developing the new website, get that out, and then in between 3 and 4 we will announce sale. I think it's in between 3 and 4 we will announce sale Season 2 and the mechanics behind that, and then we'll have the final sales of this season, and then we'll be marching on towards Season 2.
So what, like season 2? What does that look like? What's the game plan there?
I've not given it much thought other than the mechanic that we're going to be introducing.
Okay.
Whether that includes more avatars, I don't know if I want to go down that route. I think I want to develop it a little bit differently, but the avatars will be pivotal for that mechanic. And Season 2 will be. Let's just get through Season 1.
Sure. No, hey, I just wanted to ask. Believe me, like that. The when question is my favorite.
Yeah.
So,
we're looking for we want Season 1 to be finished at Easter or just after.
Okay.
So that's where we're aiming.
It's a good target
to be at.
All right.
So so that's where we want to be at. I'm aiming for a mid-October sale 2, mid-October-ish. Hopefully that goes to plan and we can achieve that. And then it'll just be downhill to Easter, and hopefully after Easter we can show you all what we've been working on. Well, it'll be before Easter that we show you, and then we'll obviously bring it live after Easter, hopefully just before summer. So that should be good.
So the sale dynamics will be the same, right? And people who buy a pack, like what will they get?
Yeah, so it's 1 pack, 1 asset, and I know some people don't like that, but with an avatar project, that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. You don't want someone to get 1 pack and open 5 of these assets. I think that 1-on-1 is fair. We could try to keep the price reasonably low as well. I know on like Ethereum, you could be paying just gas alone. You could be paying sort of $200, $300 to get one of these assets. So we've kept our price relatively low. We keep it at $35, and that'll be the price for every pack from sale 1 to sale 5. $35 a pack. And then of that pack, you obviously have a chance of pulling the highest rarity or the lowest rarity in that set of avatars as well.
Now, are these so you were talking about like the mints, right? And so I guess my question is this are these pre-minted, or are they mint on demand with like some random algorithm? Like, how does that work?
So because we give a lot of our sales away, like in terms of like wax, we've been thinking about ways in which we can actually develop our project retention fund without pulling too much of that rewards pool away from the community. So we've had developed all in-house. We've got obviously the rewards contract that we want to be able to use ourselves, but we could potentially loan that rewards contract out to other projects if they wanted to run some kind of similar rewards pool, or we could actually run that for them, or we can give them access to that contract. We've actually got a really nice looking UI that does the attribute creation of the avatars built in-house as well. So we've got all that code so that you just have to click run. And so let's say you've got 7 categories of 7 assets on a base character. The project just has to click run with 1,000 of those assets, and then it'll create 1,000 of them based off of a weighted percentage. So that's all done as well. So we don't have to do that manually. And I know that software is probably out there with other people as well, but we've got that created ourselves. So we've got that IP as well, which we can lend out to other avatar projects and stuff. So that's another income that we could potentially sort of benefit from without taking any of the sales away from the project, from the community. So that's how that looks from a background point of view. So we create them on Photoshop, then we create them on. So we run a script with a string of text to create the attributes against the avatar that's created. That gets pre-minted. We go into a pre-minted pool, and then the packs obviously are print on demand, mint on demand the packs, and then you open it, you get a chance at the pre-minted pool of 1,000 assets.
So I mean, obviously, to run a drop, costs a little bit for every project to do. But I mean, you guys must be like the big spenders on Wax really now if you're backing all of these assets, right?
Yeah. So
can we get maybe you don't want to say this, but like roughly like how much total backed Wax was thrown into the first series?
It was just over 82,000 Wax. Went into backing those assets. Top prize was 4,000 and something Wax, which is at the time was just over $1,000. I don't know what that is now, with obviously the current red dives, the sale that's on currently to load up our bags. Then second, third, and fourth, and I think maybe fifth. I can't remember the numbers. They were like 1,000 and something Wax, and then it scaled down, and I think the lowest was 120 Wax, which we calculated just on purpose. We calculated so that it would cover the price at retail of the pack. So basically, 500 got at least their money back or better, and then 500 didn't get anything, but still have 4 chances to receive rewards in sales 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think I could burn like a 4,000 backed avatar, right? If I knew that I had the one, right?
Right. I mean, that it's such an interesting dynamic. I actually remember from the Nifty Wizards time. Like I won some contest with them. I don't even remember what the fuck it was for. And then I'm getting like a bunch of the silver coins, and they're all backed by like 5 Wax. Like I'm not like that's gonna get weird. Like Wax, and I don't know if it's like this year. I think it's gonna go to between $1 and $5 unless DeFi really takes off on Wax, and then like I've no clue. It could get really fucking weird really fast. But next cycle, like Wax could easily be over $20 to $50.
I mean,
like it's just not that crazy.
It's not already weird because DeFi and Wax is pretty flipping weird in like the best ways. By the way,
yeah, I mean, everything is gonna get tokenized. Like literally everything is gonna get tokenized now. So just buckle up for that. It's getting super weird.
So you guys know Sammy, right? Sammy Snake.
Yeah.
So Sammy Snake is a very close advisor to the Kickback project.
Nice.
So we've built a good team around us. Obviously, Sammy's put me in contact with some good developers. So we're here to stay, and we're gonna be progressing for at least the foreseeable. We have a lot planned, and we want to achieve a lot too.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean,
so that's why I say don't burn the assets. Just don't burn them. We've got so much planned.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna, but thank you for the advice. Now I'm definitely not going to. But yeah, so it's a good dynamic too, because like going in and picking them up for like they're like $120 an hour or whatever. But the fact that there you go.
You'll have to come back, Ash. We miss you.
100%.
Come say hi.
Yeah, it's the British invasion again. But yeah, I dig it, right? Because like now, I've got a couple of chances to get in on the ones in the coming seasons or whatever, which is good, and just knowing that there's kind of plans going in for all that other stuff like that. Legitimately, I could not give a fuck about avatar projects. I don't fucking care. There's 6 trillion, and really, like it's part of it. Because I think even Super Sam whaled into one on Ethereum last week. Some kitty fucking bullshit or whatever, and it's
always
like
cats, man. Always cats.
Dude, it's always cats, and it's up like 1.5 ETH on it or whatever. And like, so part of my derision is like I don't have time to look into it. Like I don't know, I'm gonna miss them all. I'm not gonna miss this one because I know Diege and like he was busting my balls on Twitter. So like I got in on this one. Feel pretty good about it. Feel pretty good about
The
it.
thing is as well, it's like it's an avatar project in the loosest sense of the terms as well. So like it is an avatar project, but because it's got so much more going on within its space,
Yeah.
I don't think that the avatar project is the main drive of getting involved. I mean, we have a great community. The community absolutely love what's going on,
Yeah.
and I don't expect every man and his dog to be creating profile pictures of Liam the leprechauns, but holding the assets and using it as like as an opportunity to potentially reward themselves
Yeah.
is sort of the main drive.
Well, and I think that's a good sort of, especially for a bunch of people that have been like awash in the Our Planet insanity or whatever, right? Like that it kind of that stuff just makes a ton of sense to me. But I think moving forward, like you guys are already thinking about in terms of like we're not just making generative art fucking JPEGs because like it's not what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, Bored Ape is cool, but it's not that cool. Like the community that they're developing underneath it is fucking epic, clearly. And that's I really feel like that's what's bringing value to this, and I love the fact that you guys are thinking in those terms and wanting to figure out how to do that. And I think like the avatar projects that last, because like you guys are putting wax on these things, you guys are figuring out ways to gamify that experience in that community. I hope to see you leveraging other communities that want to partner with you and have access to your community to basically tell them, like, listen, drop some kind of value on these things and start creating some collaborations. That way, have you guys thought about anything like that?
Yeah, so that sort of goes back to what I was saying. So the way that we've built the contract is so that we whitelist a collection, and then that collection becomes usable on the contract that we've got. So it's not just Kickback that could use this. We've got the IP. If we want to collab with someone else, if someone else wants to use this mechanic, we have that available. They just need to get in touch.
The Upliftian, backed by Upliftium? I don't know.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
But so I
call me.
Like your motto is like make your avatar work for you, right? And so I think this is like really cool, right? Like and like sure. I like Corey a lot. He's got a few pet peeves, and I like those even more because I just think it's great when we're all about ranting here. I have this vision that someday some project will crack this. I think that someday we're going to see skins in the Uplift world that are like actually one of avatars or something like that, right? Like it's going to be like a weird this weird thing. I think we're probably pretty far out from that, right?
Maybe that's what season like the fifth round is, Deej. Like, have you seen the Londomly London video?
No, I haven't.
So I'm in that. As my like, as my like NASA t-shirt wearing, freaking guy, and they animated the whole thing, and it's just like, what the fuck? It's really good. It's like maybe that's you basically just take those voxels, which I mean are pretty easy to find, easy to manipulate, easy to work with. Mm-hmm. And just have a bunch of things out there like that. And then I just basically just want to try and own one of me, because apparently I'm a narcissist, which I was not aware of before this moment.
I mean, I just think it's really interesting because it makes me laugh. It's like the whole thing is like make your avatar work for you. Which is good, right? Because it's just people are collecting things, and some people will make off with money. But it makes me think about like economics and some of like my favorite Corey rants in the history of this show. It doesn't happen often, but like when he goes on a tangent, it's some good stuff. You should all tune in and listen to it. But I'm just thinking like make your avatar work for you. Buy pack, get avatar, burn avatar for less money than you paid for a pack. Isn't this like what we're trying to avoid in the whole like mainstream economic system? Right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you can't fix stupid, which is sad, but also entirely true.
And the thing is, it's not like this is the first time I'm saying don't burn the assets. Like I've been very vocal in our community, like to everybody, do not burn these assets. You will regret burning these assets. One day you're going to look back on this and go, wow, they were cheap. This is do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I burnt one of those assets that there's only 1,000 of, and I burnt one for 120 wax.
Maybe one of your backgrounds needs to be all the guys digging in the background of the dump for the Bitcoin computers that they threw away.
You burnt one for 120 wax when wax was 22 cents, not $22. You fucking clown.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the other thing as well. So as wax rises, obviously these become more valuable too. So, but then we're also adding intrinsic value, and then hopefully we can build a bit of a name and a reputation on wax as well, and be known as one of the more reputable projects on wax as well, and that holds value too. And we really don't just want to be a one and done avatar project like a lot of the ones that you're seeing currently. We want to add value, add utility, continue to add more and more different diverse utility as well. So we don't want to just do the same thing over and over again. We want to change it up. That's where season 2 comes in, and then so on and so forth.
I don't know if this works with the math of your smart contract, but let's say Uplift wanted to do a pack sale like this or something, right? And I want to dig into really understand that better, because I kind of get it, but I want to understand it more. But let's just say we're going to do that, right? And we were going to put a bunch of wax or upliftium or lithium, I guess would be the token that would back. So we can back it with any token or just wax?
Yep, any token.
That's going to get weird. Okay, so here's my proposal, because I like shooting myself in the dick. Could you open that up to other people? Take 30% of it off the top and give 15% back to the community, to your community, not to mine. Right? Like basically, the process of me, I want to apply lithium to, these 1,000 assets or whatever, right? And in that process, like I need to send you guys presumably the lithium to hold in a pool that's going to be dynamically allocated. Just take 30% off the top and then dynamically allocate half of that to the community that came before it. That way, like literally everybody, you guys are getting paid, because you should, because this is really interesting and you should get paid for that. But then, it's a potential other value add for the whole community.
Yeah. So, we can do that, and we have thought about it. And but what I haven't thought about was what you were saying about using the other projects to then benefit our community, so that we could take. So Liam, as a first edition, Liam could potentially get. Not only has he got his wax backed, but then because we've ran a collaboration with another project, now that Liam has also got X amount of upliftium backed onto it too.
I mean, fuck it. Let's rock and roll.
Or you could pay Upliftium for one of a kind, Liam avatars that you can only use in the Uplift world, and we could back those with Upliftium. There's some crazy shit that could happen here, actually.
This is honestly 2 times in 2 days. So yesterday, like Kate has lost their goddamn minds in the best possible way. They're like, I see an NFT with a number on it. I'm gonna tokenize it. Fuck you. It's just like they went crazy, right? So like Yoshi Bucks is all tokenized. To the best of my knowledge, like literally every denomination of Yoshi Buck can get turned into a token. You just send it over to tokenized NFT. And
Yoshi coins too.
And then they just did it. Like there's 1 million Yoshi coins. We're gonna make Yoshi CN, because fuck you again. We can do whatever we want. And like 5 minutes later, there's a Yoshi coin and Yoshi Bucks liquidity pool, and Blue's like, we should probably reward people for being in this. And now Kate, because we've been talking about doing Blue DAC, that's still in the works. Dealing with how to navigate regulation is fucking annoying, and I'm not a fan of it. But in the meantime, Kate's just making shit happen, right? So they're like, okay, well, whatever tokens you guys send to us, we can incentivize the holding of LP. So like, Blue and I spent a half hour yesterday just talking about tokenomics for Yoshi Bucks, Yoshi Coin, for that ecosystem, and now it all includes incentivizing the LP for these things through Kate that's just letting this happen. So like I had this moment where, and I've been looking at DeFi for the last 6 months pretty aggressively, but this moment yesterday where the idea that you can fractalize NFTs into tokens, we knew that could happen. Now it's just happening at like not at scale yet, but like clearly it could. And then the incentivization of that, like it just, I don't know, like I get all this stuff pretty well, right? And so I kind of understand how you can take all the tools off the shelf, you can put them together in interesting ways. And Diege, coming up with, I think the way you put that stuff together, I think is novel and new and fun, right? But I kind of like I don't really see a whole lot of areas where something just is gonna like a broad new expanse. So I literally yesterday was like opening a door and seeing the entire horizon. I'm like, I'm not 100% sure what you could do. I just know it's fucking millions of things, right? The number of relationships, the number of branching possibilities that go off from this ability to create relationships between different tokens and incentivizing the liquidity there, which is a useful function, right? It means that more things can, more transactions can move in those things, right? So just like you open it wide open to the point where like, fuzz is gonna get weird. And I sort of feel like you have also done that. Again, if like, and because I'm, a super stickler for this, if it works for you, strongly figure out how to make it work for communities, but then have that work for your community, right? Because that, like, the one-to-one relationship is fantastic, where you start to connect communities together in ways that are meaningful and very useful for them, and create the whole win-win-win, scenario like that. Those, I think, create even bigger virtuous cycles that end up, really kicking things into high gear.
But if I'm not mistaken, you if you burn if you burn the NFT, you release the wax, but I think you can add more on top of it as it exists, right? So like potentially even the avatars that exist, different communities could come in and partner up with that and like run contests or competitions or things like that to back more onto some of those avatar winners. I think that would be just a really cool reach out, communal experience. And I mean, I was always a community person because of permaculture, but like just seeing what the uplift has done in terms of communities, like sometimes we can't even keep up. Like there's events sometimes happening that we're not even sure of because they're like, spawned by the community. People are giving away NFTs. People are doing all this stuff. And I mean, like the avatar projects that are, over on Ethereum, people are buying them, people are holding them, people are selling them for a one-time fee. It's kind of like cutting down the forest. But like over here, right, what you guys are doing is you're buying them, you're holding them. In a sense, by hodling those NFTs, like you're insured to get some kind of kickback, right, through the 5 seasons, and you're only going into season 2, right? Right? Yeah.
I did some modeling before we released, and I did the model of the season 1, and I don't know if it was just chance or fluke or whatever you want to call
Jimmy. Wow. He just turned into a model because he's fucking funny. Jesus.
But no, I definitely didn't do modeling.
No, Jimmy was like, "This is modeling to Jimmy." Like,
so we did some economic modeling.
Yeah.
And the first edition Liam's, by the time we got to sale 5, every single one of them got some kind of reward. So that, to me,
like, statistically, it makes sense.
Yeah, well, you got 50-50 chance 5 times.
Right. So here's the thing: if we, if I, because I was thinking about putting a portal on my land, but actually even better. No, we should talk off air. I have an idea. And really, to test it, I think it'd be really interesting to drop a significant, because like, I don't know if we've ever talked about Chipple before. Like it's a token I launched like 3-4 years ago, just a community token or whatever. And so I gave that to the community, but they're letting me keep a little bit of it to kind of do like insano R&D, which I don't hate at all. But it'd be really fun to like, what happens when we drop statistically a different token, on those things. So if you want to test it, I'll get some supply and like a non-trivial amount, right? Yep. And see what we can do there. And then maybe we could turn around and see if Shipple wants to test out, being another community that has, this sort of backed capacity, because I know they're going to be interested in it. So I think a lot of people will, right? It's use it as a test, and then we'll just have you guys on and start screaming about it and see if we can't. I just want my Liam to have more shit backing it. It's really that's selfishly.
He needs to have wax in one hand. He needs to have Shipple in the next.
Fucking A. He's like drowning in tokens that now, because of DeFi, like have a little bit of value now. Like even as DeFi being the only use case for a lot of these tokens, which it isn't. Like most of them actually have some viable, reason for existing. DeFi is enough. That's the dirty little secret everywhere where Pancake Swap and Uniswap exist. So you have to buy these things to get these things, to get into these things, to get more stuff.
So you know what I hate, and this is I'm making jest about modeling, but I've been thinking about modeling a lot recently. Not me personally, but like what I hate is the fact that like everyone lines up to get like the new iPhone because they know it's going to sell out, right? Like everyone lines up to get the new Nike sneakers because they know it's going to sell out, right? And so what happens when the world tokenizes, right? And so I've been thinking about this, like if you could potentially have a partnership with a tokenized Nike or a tokenized Adidas, or even a tokenized iPhone, and equip your avatar with something that when you burn it, it essentially gives you a token that you can redeem at the store. Like that's, I think, where the world might be headed, right? Like I think that you want to launch like a coupon for fucking like cereal business so bad that it drives you insane. No, but I have to tell you, the market for that is right next door to zero. No, but I think like if you think about it, right? Because I think that like, so yeah, maybe I'm crazy. It's okay. I'm okay with that. But I think that like if there's an asset that is existent in the real world, then there's the potential possibility to have that asset mapped to something that is an NFT, right, whether you ever use it or not, right? So now all of a sudden you buy a pair of sneakers, right? And you get that pair of sneakers, and you can put that on your avatar, right? You got a one-of-a-kind pair of sneakers that you can put it, so you can build onto these avatars, right? Like, and I think that like that's going to be a thing in gaming. I never really thought about it until avatars, until like we had Diege on here, but like in gaming, I think you're going to be able to buy like a real-world asset, and then you're going to be able to use it, right? I mean, Go America, buy an AK-47 at the shop, and then you can use it in the world, to shoot other people. Am I getting us in trouble? We're on Twitch. We can say whatever the fuck we want. That's what I was told. I think that's literally the opposite of the truth, but okay. We're like, but like, I think that this is like, so going back to Corey's point that ideas are shit. Like ideas are shit because I don't know how to do this yet. I don't know whether it exists, but I think like this would be a really cool concept to like to like play out. And I think that we're going to see this happen. Like the more that people start living in the metaverse, the more that people start living online, these online lives, right? Like they're tokenized, even if it doesn't exist in the real world, their tokenized Nike shoes are going to mean more to them than the shoes that they don't have because they never leave their house anymore. Right? Like we're getting to that point where like we're going to, I mean, it was in Ready Player One. Like look at the people and how much impact they put on the things that they had in the world as opposed to in real life. And I think a lot of gamers already do this, right? Like they sit in the park and they talk about all of these amazing things that they have, or all of these amazing Pokemon that they have. Back to the card game days. So yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I would tokenize cereal if I could, but I actually think that's where we're headed. Like, I think we're probably going to go too far before we're able to come back. And it's just really interesting for me to ponder the possibilities that, are potentially going to come out of this. Like, I mean, you could build a whole fucking wardrobe on a caveman. I mean, I would probably wear it because I got grizzly hair. And like somebody could buy it and then redeem it for those assets, right? Like
there are some projects on Wax that are already doing this, aren't there? There's some projects where you buy a pack, you get 30 assets on a base avatar, and you can customize the avatar. I think Bozak did one, and I think there's a new one coming out this next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so Bozak Sebastian did one. I think that was the Dutchy one and stuff like that. But that was all internal, right? Like going back to what Corey was saying, like what if you could, customize it in accordance to different projects, right? Like different apparel, right? Like what if we get the NASA Corey t-shirt on one of your avatars, right? And that comes with like, a million backed up lithium that like bakes into the avatar. Things like this, I think could be really interesting. People could buy packs, and those assets would be like kind of community events types of things. So I'm getting really excited, but I just like the idea of gambling, which is why I don't gamble anymore, by the way.
So the one thing I'm excited to see, and it's not happened yet, because we're still small and we're still growing and we're still sort of in development stage. But I'm quite excited to see the community tools that come out of this. So I'm waiting on someone to have a smart contract created that, let's say I've got a Liam that's got 1,000 wax backed onto it. The smart contract acts as like a pawn shop where you can send your Liam to them and they'll send you 600 or 700 wax for it, and then you have to pay that 600 or 700 wax back with a little bit of interest to release your Liam back to yourself. I'm waiting for people to do things like that and get a bit funky with it, and I think that'll come. I think because you see it with Our Planet. Our Planet do someone created the Our Planet loaning system, so I can see stuff like this taking shape and different community tools and stuff.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was like lending and like NFTs acting as financial instruments is totally going to happen, and it's an interesting skirting of like that will get regulated a lot longer after they actually come for crypto, if they ever actually do. Right now, I'm not convinced at all.
So where do you see, this, or how long, I guess is the better question, do you see this process taking from series, series 1 is over, I guess, well, still ongoing, but from series 1 to series 5, I can't believe I'm asking this question. What's your roadmap? Like how many years are you thinking that this will take to play out?
I feel as though I've currently got enough content rattling around in my brain to do 2 years, which in crypto is a long time.
Right, that's huge.
A lot of things will change, and we'll see how things develop within that 2 years. I'm sure the ideas that I've got now will be very different to what actually comes out. But like I say, our main focus is to get through our first season, which should take us to around April, or a little bit afterwards. Then after that, we want season 2 to be a long time, maybe 6 to 8 months. And so we've got enough in the pipeline to sort of, I think we'll do 2 years, and then after that, obviously, depending on what happens between then and now, we'll grow and it'll change its shape the way that it will do organically. We don't want to focus on the plans that we've got now are the plans that are being implemented. I'll quite happily discuss, change, grow. This organic movement. I think I put it in the website. The community will be consulted on the majority of the decisions before we implement them, because unless it's something internally that we need to do as a project, the community are the most important people beyond the team. Like if the community doesn't like what you're doing, you'll soon not have a community. So right. and then what do you have? Like you've just got a bunch of ideas again, and Corey telling me to get my shit done. So
I mean, yeah, especially with an avatar project, they're just going to burn them all, which is good for the people who don't, right? but yeah, like I think it's like, I think go check the links below. The website is there. The white paper is it on the website on the top bar. You can read through it. Also, subscribe to the Twitter. Like, I think it's really cool what you guys are doing. Definitely get connected. Even if you're waiting for series 2, I think just like following this kind of grand experiment through is just a really interesting thought experiment. I mean, just watch back the first half hour of when Corey did it here live, and it was pretty amazing to see kind of the switches turn and the light switches, and like I was thinking the same thing. This is absolutely brilliant, right? Like this is something I wouldn't have thought of, and I'm really happy that you guys did it on Wax, and you were able to figure out a way to utilize things that nobody's really using, or dynamics that nobody's really playing with, and I think that's just awesome. So I commend you on that.
Yeah, my general rule now is like anything I'm buying these days, I'm only buying it if I'm thinking about keeping it until the top of the next cycle, so like 4.5 years. And like thinking about where this could get in 4.5 years if you just grind consistently, which it sounds like is the plan, and you're already doing it, which is really good. Like that, that could get really messed up, because like who knows what the price Wax is going to be. But like, what if my Liam has like freaking 10 tokens backed on it because I was around every time you created a relationship with a different community or whatever.
Exactly.
It's just it's a really interesting thing. It's a psychotic fucking fantastic savings plan for degens. And also I have a leprechaun, so fuck you. Feel pretty excited about it. And
in the Arctic,
from
the Arctic, right? Perfect. It was made for me.
Perfect.
Have we lost Corey again? I think we lost Corey.
He's
sorry, guys.
He just over there every once in a while.
You'd think the internet in Miami would be good.
It's the heat effect, maybe. I don't know. You would think that the internet in America would be good, or Miami would be good, or any big city would be good, right? Like, I mean, yeah. I had my shitty internet last month, but the highlight of my whole trip was I was in the middle of nowhere in a log cabin that shouldn't have been there, that was basically imported from Canada to a tropical island that had spiders the size of your hands, but it was really difficult for me to leave because it's the first time I've ever had access to 5G internet, and that was flipping awesome. Yeah, I kind of want to take my internet with me if I ever leave Japan, but I don't think that's going to happen. But in April, you think around April, season 1 will be finished. So please come back, come back and join us. Come back and, I mean, even let's just burn a caveman live, because like open a caveman live, because I think that would be super fun whenever you guys come out with that. I'm definitely going to get a caveman because I'm big fans.
I can DM you the initial sketches for it, and I think you'll like him.
I would love to see that, and I'm really excited about. So let's go back to what we were talking about a little bit before the stream. We were talking about sci-fi a little bit, and so one of the things that I really liked about Doctor Who when they brought it back was they kind of started off with the old style of cinematography, and then they kind of built it up with the SG and stuff like that. If you went through the seasons, I'm not up to date, but I went through the first 3 or 4 seasons of the remake, and it kind of sounds like that's kind of where you guys are. I like the idea of that, because a lot of these NFT projects that they'll release the commons, the uncommons, the legendaries, whatever, and they build them up through these effects. And essentially, you're kind of mimicking that with your avatar project to be able to, have each series become a little bit, more realistic. So, I mean, I'm imagining like the differentiation between, the 1980s version of like Thundercats, with the old school thing. It's the exact same theme with like the Japanese dude kind of, one that was released in the early 2000s. And now I think they've just got one that's released that almost looks like lifelike, right? So I can kind of see this progression of, the old school back of the cereal box leprechauns versus like whatever you guys come out with in the end. I think it's just really exciting over the next 4 to 5 years, I guess.
So to your point about obviously the guys that are projects at the moment build up the effects based on rarity, and like your highest rarity stuff is going to be your best looking or your most realistic or the most graphics. We're doing the absolute opposite. So first edition stuff will, on average, have a better rarity score. So the Liams, on average, will have a better rarity score. So we've flipped it on its head. The more basic artwork is going to be the more rare, and then when you get to the top stuff, that's your top quality artwork is going to have, a multi. So our rarity score is done by a multiplier. and the lower the score, the better. We started off with 1. The next sale will be 1.2. The next sale will be 1.4 or whatever, and then so the rarity score will actually be the best for the most basic artwork. So we took that and sort of flipped that on its head too.
Nice, I like it. Well, I mean, if you have anything you want to leave with, Corey, I'm kind of a little bit jonesing now because you brought it up about the Londonly London video, and Diege hasn't seen it. So do you want to watch it one more time?
1 second.
Okay. So yeah, shout out anything that you want to.
No, just keep your eyes on the website. The website's going to be getting remade over the next couple of weeks, hopefully with a lot better standards. And join the Discord. That's where everything gets announced. The Discord is like the place where we all come together to discuss things, and we have competitions in there. So one of the fun things we did on day 1 of Liam pack sale is we did a competition for who can pull the worst rarity Liam, and the worst rarity got a free pack. So so we do things like that as well. So obviously people were getting rewarded for getting the good ones, but people were also getting rewarded for getting the bad ones. So join the Discord. That's where everything goes down. And then obviously Twitter as well. We throw the headlines out on Twitter as well.
Yeah, and so you guys Twitter kickback wax, right?
Yep.
All right, so sorry, man. I was just talking to Neil. What do you want? You want to watch the Londonly thing again, or what do you want?
Yeah, let's watch us out with the Londonly thing because Diege hasn't seen it, and then then we'll call it a night because I mean that was part of our conversation, and you got to see this because
it's really good. It's quite good.
Yeah, like I say, I've been totally offline for like the last 2 days. I've had a 48-hour sickness bug, so I've just not caught up with anything that's been going on.
Well, cancel all your things today because this will get you back in there.
Okay.
I have always been a dreamer, just as you are dreaming now, Wanderer. In my youth, my dreams showed me such fantastic visions, fantastical worlds, and grand journeys, wonders greater than my eyes had yet beheld. It was my grandmaster, Cottrell, a world creator unlike any other, who first showed me the true nature of my dreams. I was not just a dreamer, but a seer of that which has not yet come to pass, and soon a builder of stories. As the years flew by, I had the great privilege to pass through each of my dreams, given reality by my own hands, my own choices. And I came to realize that this was the nature of dreams, to become our reality, our future. Only I had been gifted a clearer glimpse than most. As my dreams grew in number, they began to branch like an ever-growing tree, and I knew that my choices were now laid out before me. Step by step, I picked my own path, gazing eagerly ahead to the time when I would behold my destiny. Yet, when that time came, I found myself in the Grand Master's workshop, full to the brim with magical vials. I was puzzled that this should be the end to my journey, and yet something drew me, a random vial, which to me shone so much brighter than the others. On its side was etched one word, London. Unable to stop myself, I opened the vial and inhaled deeply its sweet vapor. A new world exploded before my eyes. Visions of its past, present, and future racing through my mind, until, at last, I blinked, and I stood no longer in the workshop, but before my Grand Master, in this new world, this London. And now I tell you the secret which he bestowed upon me there, that this is not your ending any more than that was mine, but a new beginning, which is held in this seed, given to me by the Grand Master himself. now held before you as you join me on this quest. With our combined dreams, your choices, and my glimpse into the future, we will build London's destiny, branch by branch. From this beginning, we will build a community of choice, cooperation, and above all, gratitude, filled with the greatest wonders of our imaginations, in a world where our fate is crafted by our own hands. Take my hand, adventurer. Gaze into the future with me, and let us decide what our path holds. Our journey begins here, in the uplift. Come to me and step into our story.
People are just making shit like this now.
It's incredible.
When Liam or the caveman in London. That's all I gotta say.
Soon.
Dude. Woo.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Actually, we're having a special pop-up episode with Immersies. They're doing an open weekend in their metaverse. So drop in for the metaversal effect if you're around. And if you're not, we'll see you for our regular scheduled Monday and chill. We'll actually be joined by Ardonis in anticipation of his upcoming kind of music drop, which should be pretty fun. So I'll take care and see you guys next time.
Cool. Oh, you know what, Diege? Before you drop the hammer, come up with some kind of banner. And I'll put it up on one of my plots. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a lot of shit going on like that. It's like worth getting in just for that, just to chuck some stuff up there. Anyway, we'll talk.
Awesome.
All right, man. Choppy chop. Bam.